I want to welcome everybody to the show today, and we have comedian Delay back on the show today, and we're going to see what Delay's unimpressed about. Delay is a big comedian. He's been on BET. He's been on HBO. He's worked with Kevin Hart, and we've been finding out what Delay is unimpressed about. So, Delay, what's going on in your world? And
I am in Atlanta right now. This is the only place in America if you just want to be gay and you want to be judged, this is the place to be. It's a plethora of gay men, come one, come all. This is the place for you.
Gay men?
All Diddy. Yeah, all Diddy.
All Diddy. Everybody's all Diddy.
All Diddy. And that's the thing, man. It's 2025, okay? Whatever you want to do, you should be free to do it without any judgment. You know, you got everything out there. John, I don't know if you watch the internet like I watch it. Man, it's everything out there. There is no need to be in the closet now, man. You got people with titties and cocks, and it's unjudged. That's why I don't understand, like, the whole Diddy situation. Like, you see a lot of these people coming out and saying Diddy did this. This is what I think. I think if Diddy just came out, just like, hey, listen, guys, I tricked you. Got you. I like both of them. I like this. I like that. It would make it so much easier rather than, us speculating. Just come out. It's too, like, the world is too free for you to be trapped like that. I don't know if you saw recently that they showed some video of Diddy in jail, like riding a motorcycle, just like a little motorbike, just riding a motorbike.
In jail?
Yeah, Diddy's in jail.
How to get a motorbike in jail?
He's Diddy. He's still Diddy. Like he's Diddy.
Yeah.
And it's rumors that people like the inmates are fighting to make up Diddy's bed. Like, I want to make Diddy's bed. Let me make it. Yeah, let me make it. And I think Diddy's comfortable in jail. Nobody wants to be there. He wants his freedom, of course, but with $1 billion, you can make things a little bit comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had a friend in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I would love to go to prison. He said, I would love to go to prison. So maybe that's the worst place to put Diddy. Maybe he's having a good time in there.
What's he gonna do? Put him in an all-women's prison? But he likes everything. Diddy likes everything. And I think Diddy has had so many encounters. I think he's had so many opportunities to do whatever you want. I think he's bored with just cock. I think Diddy was like, man, I want everything. I've done this. Like, beautiful models. No, I've done that. I don't ever want to get that bored to where I'm like, you know what? I want to change I want to try some different sexualities out. I don't. And again, what boggles my brain is it's an open society. Nobody has to hide it. Nobody has to hide it. You know what I mean? So come on out, Diddy. Just say it. Then now all the Diddy jokes go away. All the other stuff. It's like, hey, you've owned it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's almost like a fat guy coming out saying, I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm beating you to the punch. You can't even say I'm fat. I beat you to it. I'm fat. I'm already eating.
I wonder if you take the gangster side of it, because when I thought about it, I knew some people in Harlem that knew of Diddy's father. And, Diddy was raised by his mother. Mm-hmm. He was a mother's boy, raised by his mother because his dad got whacked when he was 33. And his father worked for Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes and them. And he got whacked in Central Park. And a lot of people don't realize that. So when you think about that dynamic, raised by his mother, maybe his mother beat the shit out of him or whatever. I mean, that's kind of a weird mix.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I was raised in a house, with a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you sit under that, you know what I mean? If you sit under that and you don't have a lot of masculinity to turn towards, I think naturally that's just kind of what happens. You know what I mean? I think just naturally, if you're never around any men and as a little boy and you grow up into your teenage years and you're still around, a bunch of women, it's going to be hard for you to try to alter what's already been the norm for you. It's just, being around feminine energy.
Well, I heard this one thing about, his sons. Some of his sons are gay. And this is, I heard on a podcast and I don't know if it's real or not, but this is what somebody said on this podcast. And I can't remember what podcast it was. They said that Diddy's sons ran a train on Justin Bieber.
Damn. Wow.
I mean, that's nuts.
That's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Wait a damn minute. Wait. Hold up. Justin Bieber got a train. Hey, listen, Justin, if you out there, listen. We want you on the Unimpressed Podcast. We really do. We want to have a conversation with you. And we're not going to impede on your privacy. We just want to know if you're all right. You know what I mean? Like, was it consensual?
I don't know. They had on that big to-do about the time that, Usher took Justin to L.A. and then Justin spent a weekend or a week with Diddy or however long. And supposedly some things happened during that time. And he was a very young kid at that time. But now you look fast forward, you can see his sons a couple of his sons are gay. And it's
Diddy's sons are gay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I don't know if there's any truth to that or what, but, now throw in the wife dynamic. His wife, Kim, I don't know who else he was married to or else he had kids with, but was he just having kids because he wanted kids, but he wasn't really interested in women? I mean, how do you, is money that important to people for them just to hide behind that veil of nonsense in a household?
I think, listen, I don't know what it's like yet to be a billionaire, but I imagine being able to buy whatever you want, whatever it is. You can do anything in the world. I mean, people that are on the other side of billionaires, we always look at it like, well, I wouldn't get bored. I can't imagine having access to so much to where done it too much so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even imagine a billionaire, and like, he's a party guy. You're trying different things. Your appetite just keep increasing. That's a hard one. That's because you got to go into the mind of what it's like to have everything at your access. That's a tough one. I'm going to share this story with you. Now, I used to be a blackjack dealer, right? I was a blackjack dealer at the Wynn. So I got a chance to see how people treat other people. You know what I mean? Like at the Wynn, you would see, man, at the soft opening, it was Sylvester Stallone, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was George H. Bush. Like, it was all these, huge prominent figures. I didn't get a chance to hang around them, but once the casino opened, I was a high-limit blackjack dealer, so I would be able to I would hobsnob with some of these guys. Now, let me tell you this. It's a couple of stories, but let me just tell you this one. How you can say whatever you want about what you won't do until that money is presented to you. Okay, so I'm dealing in the high-limit pit at the Wynn, and I really didn't like to be in the high-limit pit. I would like to do high-limit games on the outside, but on the inside, it's like more of the private games. It's serious. They're quiet. Everybody's whispering. You don't want to have... And I'm a loud-talking dealer. I'm talking loud. I'm talking fast. I'm talking shit. So I'm dealing to this guy one day, and I told my supervisor, I was like, man, I don't want to be over there. Put me in general population. You know what I mean? Where the regular millionaires at. Don't put me around these billionaires. I don't want to be around this. Well, they put me in there one day, and I was like, okay, I got something for y'all. I hope I give all this shit away. I want to give every nickel away. So I'm dealing to this guy. He's a cool guy, man. He's really cool. And I've been dealing to him for like 2 hours now. Now, if you know anything about blackjack and dealing, the dealer deals for 1 hour and he breaks for 20. Deals for an hour, breaks for 20. The reason being, you want the dealer fresh because you're dealing with numbers. You got to calculate stuff. So you want to have a fresh dealer. I would always make sure I engage with the audience, with the customer, because everybody's different. So I always want to find out, hey man, what do you do? So I'm dealing to this guy and I say, hey man, what do you do? He said, I'm in the oil and gas business. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's winning. He's probably up maybe 75,000. And I said, hey man, what's the most you've ever won? And he said, oh man, the most I've ever won is like 300,000. I'm like, do no worrying. Today I'm beating that. I want to beat that record. And he was like, man, I never had a dealer that was this friendly. This is okay, fine. So while I'm dealing, I would just be talking to random cocktail waitresses while I'm dealing. He said, hey D, how do you know all these cocktail waitresses? I said, man, it's my job to know these cocktail waitresses. Now, if you've been to the Wynn before, I haven't been in a while, but I'm sure the standards are still the same. If you worked as a cocktail waitress to Wynn, you had to be absolutely stunning. You had to be a certain size, and they had everything. They had every type of beauty that you look for. They had it. So I'm dealing to the guy, and he said, hey, man, this is one Asian waitress. I really like her, man. You think you can put in a good word for me? And I was like, yeah. Let's just get to that 300,000, and then we'll work that out. So I'm dealing to him. We're in our like 4th hour now. So he goes on a tear. He's betting like 3 or 4 hands at 10,000 a pop. And he's going on a tear. He's winning. He's up 500,000
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I think I'm going to get out of here. I said, man, I don't think you should leave right now. I'm on the road. We already beat your record. He kind of grinned. He's like, this guy, okay, let's go. And I said, now it'll really make it easier for you to make this transition into having this conversation with this lady. I'll set it all up. Now, keep in mind, John, I got a VIP company. The name of my VIP company is All In VIP. The reason why I set up a VIP company because all the players that would come and play with me would have such a good time. They were like, hey, man, I want to hang out with you. And I would hang out with them and I would go to clubs. So I said, let me just make this thing a business. So now I would always have access to the beautiful cocktail waitresses. I'm like, hey, let's go hang out. You know what I mean? They're going to give me some money. I'll give you guys some kickback money. Let's just have a good time. He sees this beautiful Asian girl named Maylene. Maylene is stunning. Maylene is like long black hair, tall. She's beautiful. Still dealing. He gets up to $1 million. He's got $1 million now. And he said, man, I should get out of here now. I said, man, let's just get over $1 million. He was like, you're a real gambler. I'm absolutely a real gambler, right? I go on break for 20 minutes. I come back. He's now down 800,000. I said, man, listen, I'm going to get you back to that meal. I'm going to set it up with Maylene. Everything's good to go. I get him up to $1.2 million. He's won $1.2 million. He started with 300,000.
Wow.
1.2 million is what he's up. And I said, listen, I'm going to go on break and I'm going to go talk to Maylene. I'm going to make this connection happen. And he's like a real shy guy. You know, he's like, you think she's going to like me? Sir, I promise you she's going to like you. You got $1.2 million in front of you. So I go over to Maylene. Now, me and Maylene don't have much of a interaction together. She knows me. I know her, but we don't really talk that much. Mm-hmm. I said, Maylene, how you doing? She was like, hey, D, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I said, listen, do you know what I do, outside of dealing? She says, yeah, you're a comedian. I said, yeah, but I have a VIP company. Listen, let me just get straight to the case. You see that gentleman over there? She says, he wants to take you out on a date. She says, does he have any money? Absolutely he has money. I just gave him $1.2 million. Look over there. Looks, he's like, oh my gosh. I don't know, is he going to want to have sex with me? Probably so. He probably going to want to have sex with you, Maylene, just to be totally frank with you. She sits and she ponders. She says, I don't know. What do you think? I'm like, give me the titties and I'll go with them. Okay, because you bullshit. You are bullshitting, Maylene. So I make the connection, introduce them. They hang out. The next day I get to work. She comes to me. She's running to me. Now, let me tell you what my deal is, okay? This is how I'm winning with my company. Whatever I set up, I get half of it. I get half. If I set up the situation where it's $5,000, I get 25. Now, once you go with him, whatever he gives you after that, that's all you. I don't want any of that. I just want my initial cut, 50%. So I'm not a pimp. I'm a business associate. I am a business associate. She goes on a date with him, comes back the next morning. She sees me. Now, I work the grave shift. I work 4 a.m. to noon. She sees me. She runs over to my table. She says, oh, my God, delay. You're not going to believe this. I'm like, what happened? How was your night? She said, we went out to dinner. It was amazing. After dinner, he took me shopping. He bought me a dress. He bought me some shoes. He bought me a purse. And afterwards, I walked him back to the room, and he kissed me on the cheek, and he was such a gentleman. He didn't even want me to come in the room. He just enjoyed my companionship, and that was it. And I said, oh, my goodness. She said, oh, do I owe you anything? I was like, no, I just got my cut. That's it. She says, do you have players like this all the time? I said, yeah, but let me be frank with you. You got lucky. Most of these guys are going to try to fuck you. I'm going to just be honest with you. This guy right here just let you off the hook. Because most people that do stuff like this, they're going to want some ass, Maylene. So don't get comfortable thinking that this is going to be ropes. So I've seen situations in which people will kind of be on the fence about something, and then the money comes into play, and it becomes a big thing. Hold on. Cut 2. Side note. I'm sitting at the table. I don't want to say this guy's name because I'll just say this. He's involved with Nike. Okay. That's all I'll say. I can't say his name, but he's involved with Nike. This is another separate story. I'm dealing, and it's about 5 a.m. I've just got to work at 4. And there's a new cocktail waitress. She's Filipino. She is stunning as well. Everybody's pretty. Her sister works there as well. I know her sister. I don't really know her. So let's say the Nike guy, he's playing with me, and he's not really playing to win. He's mostly just having a conversation with me. He's betting about $500 a hand. He's taking it easy, actually. And he said, D, what's the most you've seen, won in this casino? I said, I gave a guy like 1.2 million. He said, people always talk about what money can't do and what money wouldn't do, and they don't know because they don't have it. He said, you want me to show you how powerful money is? Hell yeah, show me. He said, that's my waitress, right? Yeah, it's the new waitress, it's a Filipino girl. She comes over, she gives him a drink. He's drinking like a soda. He's not drinking anything. He drinks some soda. He gave her $100. She's like, she's only been there like a week. $100 for a Thank you so much. He says, don't worry. It's more where that came from. So she's coming back every 15 minutes. It's more dialogue. He says, what time do you get off? She says, I'll get off in an hour. Why? He said, you can come and sit and play blackjack with me. Now, at the Wynn, cocktail waitresses can get off work and they can come sit at the table and play. She gets off work. She comes, sits down, and he winks at me. He show you what money's going to do. So he hands her a stack of 100. A stack of 100 chips, $100 chips is $2,000. She is taken away. She's like, for me? Yes. And he was like, what are you drinking? She was like, tequila? Oh, you're a tequila girl. Yeah. Tequila. We got another waitress coming in now. So she's taking tequila shots. She's about 2 shots in. We're an hour in. She's playing blackjack, laughing, having a great time. She's boozed up pretty good. He says, hey, D, listen, I'm going to get back with you a little later, man. We're going to go hang out. I said, okay, cool. He leaves. She leaves with him. I see him. He's walking towards the VIP area. She's going to his room. And I'm like, wow, just that easy. He comes back down. When he comes down, he's in front of her. She's behind him. Her hair is all over her head. Like she just finished a goddamn wrestling match. He comes, sits at the table, and he smiles at me. And he's got $500 chips, right? $500 chips. I think a stack of them is 10,000. Don't quote me, but I think it's 10,000. And he says, D, and he's raking the chips up. Don't let anybody tell you what money can't buy. And she comes and she sits down. And her hair's all over her head, and she's really, really tipsy at this point. And he's a whole different guy. He's a whole nother guy now. So he's playing. He's not really talking to her too much. And she looks at him, and he says, you may want to fix yourself. Your hair's all over your head. Fix yourself. And she's like, oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. He says, yeah, straighten yourself up. You're embarrassing yourself. What? You don't talk to me like that. He said, I can say anything to you that I want. Matter of fact, you should leave. Yes, you should leave. I don't really like being around drunk females. She leaves. And he sits at me. I say, man, what? What happened? He said, you see these chips right here? And he pulls out a $500 chip. He says, you'll be amazed at what this can get you. I said, what happened? He said, oh, nothing. I fucked her in the ass. What? Yeah. I just wanted to see if she'd take it up the ass. I didn't even want it. I just wanted to see if she'd do it. So I did it because she was willing to do it. I said, how much did you give her? He just showed me the chip and put it back down. And he said, money is powerful. It's only not powerful to those who don't have it. I said, wow. You banged a cocktail waitress in the ass? He's only been knowing her for an hour. Who goes straight to the ass? Like, that's, you know what I mean? You don't do the ass, you know what I mean, off the rip. You take, you know what I mean? You get into a relationship before you get into the ass. You know what I mean? Normally, unless she's a porn star and she's requesting it. Yeah. But I was like, wow.
If you're in that world, you're in that space. I don't know. Were you there? Were you at the Wynn when Garth Brooks was doing that show?
I was there.
You were?
Yeah.
Really? I went there. I went to that show.
Yep.
So you were probably working there.
And let me tell you something. I remember how it went because I remember when the tickets went on sale, it sold out so fast.
Yeah.
It sold out so fast. You know what I mean? And I remember it being a talk, around the casino about Garth Brooks selling out so fast. And that's when I knew, I was like, wow, this guy's, when I'm talking about fast, I'm talking about like in a couple of hours, he had sold out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that Wynn produces you see a lot of stuff in there.
A friend of mine worked for UBS, right? And I thought that I needed him. And come to find out, we'd have these jets come pick us up. Used to have the Borgata jet pick us up at Westminster, or Westchester. Is Westminster, Westchester, that airport out in New York?
Mm-hmm.
And one time when I went to the Wynn show and Garth Brooks, and that was an amazing concept, by the way, where he told his life story and would sing a song based on when he wrote the song.
That's brilliant.
It was a very cool concept. But this guy was a broker, right? And one time we had the big Caesars jet come get us, and it was just me and him. I can show you pictures, whatever. But they would put him up, whatever he want. We had these, the VIP suites, the big high ceilings, the 2 bedrooms, the big living rooms, the big TVs, so it was very, I was kind of, I guess, in the vapor, if you will.
Right.
And I was
right.
like, this guy must have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because this side of the coin can go either way. And I said, this guy must have everything. I said, he's going to finance my business. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Long story short, this guy still owes me $10,000. And the reason the casinos were flying him back and forth so much, they're trying to get their money back because he was in debt with the casino. He was in debt with the casinos, like $1 million.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of a facade. So that big money can go either way, and people will stay in the game to try to recoup or whatever and spend more money, right? And sometimes you don't know what side that's on. So there's a lot of bullshit out there too. But that was a big lesson in life for me, because I think I met this guy. First time I met this guy was in Ohika Castle, and he was talking about $1 trillion diamond. And I should have knew his bullshit then, but I learned a lot. I grew up fast and so forth. But if you're in that space, right, and you look at you look at P. Diddy and his boy Jay-Z, and Jay-Z's kind of, they've gone after him. Now, if you're friends with somebody for 20 years and you know your boy's lifestyle, what do you think that relationship looks like?
For 20. Okay, John, let's put us in that situation. Okay, both of us we both have 500 million. We've hung out for 20 years. I got an idea what you like, John. You have an idea what I like. You know what I mean? We're not going to be able to hide those secrets like that. We'll trust each other enough because most of our friends don't have $500 million. So you know my secrets and I know your secrets, but we don't say anything. And it goes that way. I refuse to believe that you're hanging around somebody for that long and you don't really know. You just kind of turn a blind eye to it because you're like, that's kind of like what he does. And then we got business that we do together. So it's not going to stop our business. So whatever he's doing, that's fine with me. If anybody ever asks me about it, I won't repeat it. I think that's how those relationships go. I think that's how those $500 million relationships go. You know what I mean? Like just think about it, John. Like if we're hanging out and publicly I come off as a clean cut guy, I don't do anything. I'm loyal to my wife, but secretly, I like to smoke weed. I like to drink. I like to party. It would probably hurt you to reveal that. It would hurt our relationship because now I'm about to go tell your shit over here too. So I think it's just a big, well kept secret and whatever that secret is.
Because it's weird that, I don't know, I was always in New York. I was the hillbilly in New York, and I knew these guys from Harlem, and they were old guys. I thought they were retired.
Are these mob guys?
These black gentlemen I knew in Harlem, they loved me, right? They loved me, like, for some reason. And this one guy that I became friend with, and he was like 70 years old. He was like one of my best friends. This guy back in the day was involved in the heroin trade in Harlem. He was friends with Frank Lucas. Now and this is what's very strange, and I never heard him talk about Jay-Z. His best friend was Barry Hankerson.
Why do I know that?
Barry Hankerson was married to Gladys Knight. He was Aaliyah's uncle. That dynamic right there, they're saying in the press that Jay-Z might have messed with Aaliyah, whatever. I don't know if Jay-Z would have messed with Aaliyah based on who
its affiliation to her.
Who Aaliyah was connected with, because he would have been done. Because those, like this guy told me, I mean, he called up Mike Tyson. He said, John, you want to get Tyson? Because I did this big boxing match at Ohika Castle. He said, you want to get Tyson? I said, I'll call him right now. Tyson, hey, what's up? Answered the phone real quick. And, this guy told me one time, he's like, dude, he says, do you ever need anything? I can lock a whole block down in 30 minutes, anywhere in the city. So there's a little bit of, I think there's a little bit of bullshit you got to weigh there, because I really don't think if Jay-Z was that young and trying to get in the game, and this guy was married to Gladys Knight, he developed Timberland, he had Tony Braxton, had all these people, and his best friend was this friend I knew who ran part of Harlem. Yeah, I don't know if he would have messed around with Aaliyah too much. Because they tried to make this big story of Jay-Z messing with Aaliyah.
And this wasn't Jay-Z who we know today. This wasn't this Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Right. The powerful Jay-Z that we know today.
Yeah. I mean, there's a different, if you're in New York, all the shit talkers, and then there's a level of personality that you just don't fuck with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think we got to measure those stories and just figure out what's the truth and what's not, because the media, sometimes is full of shit too.
Yes. And listen, on the next episode, I want to start from this tail end of the story of Benny. Benny was from Saudi Arabia, was balling out of control. I'll tell you about that on the next episode of Unimpressed.
Comedy right now.
Mm-hmm.
The industry says there's a lot of content out there, a lot of acts out there. What's cutting through the cheese today compared to when me and you met 4 years ago? What do you see different in industry?
People artists are becoming more independent. Comedians are doing it more independent because they're realizing there's so many streaming platforms that are wanting content. And the difference is now it's like you don't have to wait on the agency to say, hey, listen, I'm going to put you in a position to win. If you have content, you are king. Prime example is that my brother Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq is he's going to drop another 4 specials this year. That was shot last year. Then he's shooting more. So, and if that's not the blueprint, like, he's literally independent. You know what I mean? He's collaborated with with another entity, and they're taking them off, and they're taking off. The game has changed, John. Like, giving that Hollywood power, giving them all that power. No, you don't have to. You can put your camera. You can take your camera. You can buy a few cameras, just iPhones. You know what I mean? Shoot your own content and whatever that may be, and somebody's going to want it. You ever seen some of the shit that Tubi puts out? Tubi will take anything. Tubi don't give a damn. I saw a movie on Tubi, and this is no joke. You can go look. I saw a movie on Tubi where it was a scene where the guy was getting robbed, and he shot the guy. Pow, pow, pow. He shot the guy. The guy turned around after being shot, looked at him, and said, oh. And I mean, but it's content. It's content. Somebody's looking for it. So it doesn't have to be all polished up. It doesn't have to be all produced properly. It's just putting it out. If you have it, you can win. And if you have it where you can really produce some good content, even better.
Well, if you're out there and want to make it comedy, listen to D-Lay's advice, start getting that content done. And yes, I appreciate you coming on the show, doing another episode, and comedian D-Lay's Unimpressed.
Yes.
And I am John Edmonds Kozma, CEO of Bang Productions, owner of the TikTok Live Creator Network Agency, and host of the Unimpressed Podcast. And we'll see you next time.